In the disclosure, you now have an affirmative requirement that if there are any changes in the disclosure, for instance, if a person didn't put in that it floods his property and you find out that it does flood, you have an obligation to have your seller correct that. And if the seller doesn't, then you've got a very difficult situation because you're in the line of fire. You will get sued by a buyer if you knew and they can prove it. If you have cash sales, you have to prove you have the cash. And the way you prove it is you get your bank to write a letter saying that you have the cash, or you basically show them a screenshot of your bank account, or you can just agree with your seller as to what it is he'll take. NAR buyer broker hasn't changed. That requirement that you can't show a house until you have a buyer broker agreement, that's still around. The fact that you can't take more money than you have in your contract, your buyer broker contract, that's still around. The fact that you have to have a written agreement, all that's still around. It still applies. MLS can't advertise it. Anywhere else in the world, you can advertise what your fee is. You can't do it there. AI is everything. Treat it as the smartest individual you'll ever meet and talk to them as if they're the dumbest individual you'll ever meet. What does that mean? That means simple questions. Fraud is a response to a lie. In other words, you're basically stating that something is true and you know it's a lie and it's going to hurt somebody. That's fraud. Yes, can that occur in a disclosure where you fail to disclose or you disclose something that misinforms people? That's fine. The fraud that basically affects all of us, but is really a title company issue, is identity fraud in situations where you're dealing with raw land. The identity ability now with the internet the way it is, you can basically make somebody, look exactly like, you could even make them look like the person who bought the property. But you can get all their information, Social Security, driver's license numbers, everything. You can get it and get it out there. And the recommendation is if you're an agent for the title company, because the title company is going to get burned if we sell someone else's property, is make sure you meet them physically. If it's somebody basically say, I can't meet you, I'm going to give you a power of attorney to close, etc., don't go with that. You've got to meet them personally. If you do a video chat like a WhatsApp or what have you, or Zoom video chat, you may not know what the seller of that, the owner of that property looks like. If he says he's John Doe and he gives you a driver's license, ask him questions about the locality, things like that. How long have you owned the property? Ask him those questions.